Hey there, captains. It's Reiem again, and this time the Vassal World Cup has started. Just finished my first pod game last night, so I thought I would get the video out about it and how it went. Before we get into the game, though, we'll cover the fleets here. We'll start with mine. Here's what I'm playing for Vassal World Cup. I might do a more in-depth video later, but for now, just a brief overview. It's called Big Bad Veil. We have a Ven II with clone Captain Zak, veteran gunners, SPHA-T, electronic countermeasures, external racks, linked Turbolaser towers, and Tranquility. Along with Ven 1, we have a Ven 2, we have a Venator I with Ven 2, excuse me, with Organa, GAllia, boarding troopers, Intensify Firepower, external racks, linked Turbolaser towers, and the Resolute title. We also have a pair of Pelta transport frigates, both with projection experts and munitions resupply and parts resupply on the other, with one of them having Hondo and the other one having no officer. My opponent was Rasproteus, flying Kraken. So we have a bunch of CR90As. One has General Kraken with Hondo, Turbolaser reroute circuits, and Jaina's Light. We then have three more CR90s, all with just turbo reroute circuits, and a GR75 with Tornfar, Slicer Tools, and Bright Hope. Finally, for squads, got a pretty good complement of Lando, Sharabe, Taiko, Ketsu, 2 A-Wings, and 2 YT-2400s. So that was my opponent's fleet. Let me pull up the images here. All right. And make sure it's started. All right. So here we are after deployment of the game. I chose to go second. I had bid at 395. Rasproteus was at 400. Rasproteus chose to take my surprise attack, so this is a setup for that. I corner deployed from him just because in test games that I did, I really can't survive a lot of chip damage. I found out as much as I would have thought I could have. So I was just hoping to delay the game by corner deploying across from him. And also, nav raids will slow him down. As you can see, he's all at 2, and the raid dials are set up. So first round it's going to be nav, then squad, then nav raid again. All right. So just before we get into the end of round 1, this is kind of what I was thinking at deployment. My fleet had two options. It was either all going to turn and basically be flying horizontally this way across the board, and that would happen if all of the CR90s and this GR75 basically come down and try and like run around this area, like follow these lines. The other option I could see Rasproteus doing is turning them sharp in and basically trying to fly around this way, in which case this is my Venator with Bale would be kind of out by his own. I could still attempt to turn in, and the Peltas, they probably won't get to shoot anything important, but they'd still be in range to projection experts and help out in this case. So that is the least desirable outcome, is that he turns in this way. I was really hoping that he'd come this way because this fat, if it's flying this way, will be able to reach the edge of the board. So I'll basically have him pinned in front of the Peltas, and if they fly by the Venator, we'll have this fat out the side. This fat is going to kind of be out of range, probably, unless he flies in a bunch middle like this. But it's the one with 3 reds, so at least if it's shooting at long range, it's got more dice than the Ven II. So here we are at the end of round 1. As you can see, things are slowly moving across with the nav raids and stuff. His squads come forward. Not yet determined if he's going to swing low or middle or up. Any of those are available, although these kind of angled in this way tells me it's probably going to be more of a middle or bottom play here. I put a little exclamation mark because as soon as I did my turns, everything was spaced nicely, just how I wanted it. But I realized as we continue this on, the way I'm going to have to nav to make sure I don't run anything is probably going at speed 2s and 3s, which means these Peltas are going to actually probably be like a large base ship ahead of the Venator, which means the Venator won't be able to support with flak very well on these Peltas, and that means these guys will probably get a chance to pick apart one of the Peltas. And while Peltas are extremely tanky, I found that if you overload their defense tokens with a bunch of squads, they can actually kind of chip through, and they'll get like a hull damage or two, and then you'll like heal, and then they'll get another couple hull damage. So over a course of a turn, they'll slowly like pick away at you. So we go from the end of round 1 to end of round 2. As you can see, the squads jumped in on this lead Pelta. It's too far forward. All the squads are out of range except this one YT 2400 of this Venator. This Venator is lined up the way I want horizontally, but just farther back than I'd like. Also kind of locked myself a little bit in activation order, but it's fine because we're not engaged yet because of the nav raids. He can't get in fast enough. So this one's going to have to swing down so that this one can come forward. And at least these Peltas have blue-black flak, so I'll get some decent flacking opportunities. And actually, Rasproteus' dice were not in his favor. I think between the YTs and Ketsu, they only got like 3 damage in, which is perfectly fine for this Pelta. I can heal it up. So in essence, no real damage done in this turn, other than he's going to force me to spend this engineering token. So we'll go to the end of round 3. So end of round 3, I wanted to make a couple notes here. So we got this X here, because that YT 2400, that was just in range of this Venator. It took a flak shot from this Pelta, and then this Venator had 1 blue dice on it, but also had LTTs and a Confire. So we took 1 YT off the board. We got some chip damage, and we got 1 on a YT and 1 off of this A-Wing. I also making note that I have placed my SPHA-T token out the front here. This kind of limits my flak opportunities, but something's going to have to come into range. And the SPHA-T is with General Kraken in my fleet. SPHA-T is like the only thing that's really going to kill ships, unless I get one of these CR90s like in front arc close range of one of the Venator. So I'm just here to threaten this. Due to activation order, I probably realize it'll probably be the GR75 that I have to shoot, but points are points. I think it's going to be a really tight game at this point. I'm accepting that I'm probably going to lose at least a 1 Pelta, and if I lose this Pelta, I'm honestly afraid that these are just going to, now that the nav raids are done, are going to fly right past me, and I might be able to pick off like one of these 90s. So it might like be a GR75 and a 90 to a Pelta. Plus the YT 2400 as far as score goes. And then, yeah, here's just a threat range of that SPHA-T token. So you see if we're going to be forced to slow down or fly something into SPHA-T range. So we'll go to the end of round 4. Oh, no. I did want to highlight something. So this is the very last move of round 4. I used my pass token this turn to make sure that his flagship went just before I set up my turn here. I realized if I went straight ahead, it was going to be doing nothing. These Venators haven't been shot at all, and judging by the fact this is the end of round 4, are going to be, I'm not worried about the Venators dying, so I'm going to go for the Ram on myself and do a damage to each. But using a Bale nav dial, it is going to force me or allow me to do this sharp turn at 1 and drop down to speed 2 from 3. So I'll be able to threaten stuff in here with this Venator. So this is how round 4 actually ended up. As you can see, both Peltas are still at full health, actually. After the squads, we're definitely threatening stuff now. We got the SPHA-T out the front again. And this is the end of 4. Okay, end of 5. So we did manage to pick off that GR75. It activated first, and I was able to clean it up. We're getting some chip damage in on the CR90s. I believe this one doesn't have any front shields. This one has one front shield down. He had to back the A-wings out because they got low. A little worried about Ketsu and Landu, and it was really rough for this Pelta this round. As you can see, it has 3 hull left, no shields, and 2 hull zones, and I'm going second. So I'm accepting this is probably going to die. This one is still full health, full token, so I'm hoping that this one's going to make it through. This Venator is set up in an awesome position where it's going to basically force them right along the board. He actually delayed moving these by ramming this Pelta. That's why they're both down 1 and why this one's actually down the damage. And as you can see, we're just kind of really boxed up. So I'm hoping actually at this point that I'm going to lose this Pelta, but I might actually pick off 2 of these CR90s because I do have the SPHA-T out the side. So one of these are probably going to have to fly by, and I'll probably get like a nice rear shot with this SPHA-T. All right. So here we go. This is an important turn, so I kind of broke it up. This is halfway through round 6. He has cleaned up my 1 Pelta. Flown over here, so I know I'm going to have a SPHA-T shot. Also, some decent shots here from this one. I went with the Pelta next because I was worried. He actually commanded squads with this one and went with Ketsu and Lando and kind of did some damage to this Pelta, and I didn't want them in the front arcs of these CR90s, so I went with the Pelta next to get some chip damage in. I flew it in so it was just in the side arc. So I'm going to take 2 side arc shots, and he still has Shara, Tycho, and this one YT-2400. So I'm a little nervous that this Pelta might actually die at this point. This is another during the game. So after that, I believe he went with a CR90 and rammed to land back over here in front of me. So I did a chip damage shot on this CR90. It was 2 red dice. I had concentrate fire as the dial. I decided not to use it for the shot here because I was pretty confident that the SPHA-T would be able to do it. Instead, I went for the cheeky kill on Shara here. This has double blue. So we shot at Shara because she's just in black range as well. So we had 2 natural, 2 from LTT. I confired in the blue, got the accuracy because the ship has like no rerolls. It has a concentrate fire token, but other than that, no rerolls. Then we X-Rax, and we got 5 damage and an accuracy. So we managed to wipe Shara off the board. A lot of firepower used, but points are points. And then this is the end of round 6. So SPHA-T did clean up this one here. The front shot from this cleaned up this one. The CR90 down here actually took a con fire to try and kill that Pelta. And as soon as Rasproteus revealed the dial, he's like, I've made a mistake. Because it was going speed 3, and he realized he couldn't actually keep it on the board without the nav dial. So that one flew off the board, and the squads who had been kind of rolling pretty dismally did manage to both roll hits and finish off the Pelta, which was exactly at 2 hull. 1 evade left, and the evade didn't matter. And that was the game. It ended 220 points for me. Destroyed, and Rasproteus destroyed 110. So 7-4, and I believe that was the first 7-4 of the tournament. A lot of big numbers and a lot of 6-5s have been happening so far. But I'm excited to see where the rest of the pod goes. Happy to get a win under the belt for pods. Just want to make it out of the pod phase and see how we do. And the next one, that was my goal for myself just this year. First year doing Vassal World Cup. Just make it out of pods. So we're off to a good start, and I'll be sure to make a video after the next game. Thanks for watching.